Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Asad Yaqub and I welcome you from Murray Hills, and this is the wayside to Ayubia. Well, let's just take a start with Ielts speaking, because speaking test is going to be held very soon, and speaking test is always going on, and students, they have to take their speaking test, and many students are worried because in speaking test it's a face-to-face interview. You have to meet the examiner, you have to deal with the examiner, so many students are often worried about Ielts speaking test. So let's just take a start. Let me tell you, in Ielts speaking part 1, which is called introduction, there are some basic level questions. What you guys need to do, you need to read a list of questions which they might ask you. Let me tell you, in Ielts speaking section 1, they always talk to you about your hometown, about shopping, about your favorite things, about your likes, about favorite food, about family, films, books and all that, about your hobbies, leisure activity and all that. So what you guys need to do, you need to prepare yourselves for that, and prepare does not mean you need to cram the answers. With crammed answers you cannot get good bands in Ielts. You need to come up with your own answer. You should see what is the tense of the question, how you can answer in that very tense, and in part 1 they should be the crispy answers, like the answer should be 4-5 sentences, right? And do not give a very short one word answer, yes no answer and all that. In part 1 there is no issue of clarification, or there is no issue of clarity actually. The examiner is going to ask you the question and you can simply answer that question. If you focus, the question is simple and you can add because after your answer. I mean, because is going to be a magic word in Ielts speaking part 1, where you can add the word, answer the question directly and then add because. For example, if they say, what do you do in your free time? In my free time, I watch movies because, and then add 4 more sentences. So this because will give your brain a chance to come up with new ideas, and you can do that. After that, in speaking part 2, many students do a mistake. They just read the main topic and they understand this is my topic. I can speak for 2 minutes on this topic without any problem. Actually, it's not that. Along with the main topic, like describe a book you like the most, there are 3 sub-points and you must cover these 3 sub-points in your conversation as well. But many students, they only speak on the main topic and they don't even look carefully at the sub-points or the subtopics which are given in the bullets, so they get the low badge score. So you should read the main topic and don't forget to write down the notes. And the way you write the notes, some students, they write the notes in the form of sentences. You should not write the notes in the form of sentences. You should write the notes in the form of outlines, in the form of bullets. Once you write the notes in the form of bullets, like you look at the bullet, that is like a heading, that will give you the ideas, that will make you think about that. So at the time of speaking, your bullet points should be in front of you and you should take a look at the first point. Never do this thing that you start communicating with the examiner in part 2 and you entirely forget about the cue card and about the bullet points you've written. So do not ignore the cue card, do not ignore the bullet points, and speak on the topic. Once speaking part 2 is over, examiner will give you the cue. Examiner is going to tell you that, okay, now we move on to part 3, and during your speaking test, I'll speaking part 2, if examiner says this or if examiner says this, it means you got to finish. So just conclude your answer and finish that. After that, in part 3, which is called discussion, the examiner is going to ask you follow-up questions from speaking part 2. Let me tell you, the key to part 3 is actually, there is always a question about comparison. Remember that there is always a comparison. There is always a question about your opinion, right? And this comparison can be present past, this comparison can be past and present, or present and future, right? So there is always a comparison, there is always a question about contrast, and there must be a question about prediction. So for prediction we use the words will, likely to, expected to, and all that. So you need to use a variety. So again, I tell you, in speaking part 3, the master key to success is you should be able to compare 2 things. one from the past, one from present, one from future. You should be able to switch on your imagination and to share your thoughts in speaking part 3. And in speaking part 3, you should also be able to predict and use the language for prediction. So examiner is going to ask you 4-5 questions and you got to reply. This is how you can go on with IELTS speaking. That's all. If you have your IELTS speaking test, be confident, be very confident. Don't be afraid, right? You're not going to be afraid, and don't just feel that it's an interview. What will happen? How will I answer the questions? It's just going to be a friendly interview because examiner is going to be very much friendly with you. That's all. If you like this video, of course you like this video, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel. I run another channel, Asad Yaqub Vlogs. You can subscribe to that channel as well. Thank you very much. From this beautiful place, still you can see this is a very nice snowman, and the snowman says I miss you. If the snowman misses you, it means I miss you as well. But I wish you all the best with a fantastic band score in IELTS. Asad Yaqub wishes you all the best. Take good care of yourselves and do tell me about your IELTS result. Take care. Allah Hafiz.